Okay, this is Chapter 4, Lesson 4.3, Add and Subtract Fractions with Like Denominators. Okay, so example number 1, we have 5 over 9, 5 ninths plus 2 ninths. Now, when you add and subtract fractions, you have to make sure they have the same denominator. Now, in this case, they do. They both have a denominator of 9. So, the denominator for our answer is also going to be 9. Now for your numerators, you just add or subtract. So now we have 5 plus 2, and write everything out, which is 7 over 9. Can you simplify that? No. So that is our final answer, 7 over 9. Number 2, we have negative 3/5 plus negative 1/5. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people forget about the negative in front. So I'm going to circle it and put a star next to it, just so we don't forget it. Okay? Now, the second thing that we do here is we see that we have two signs next to each other, positive and a negative. Positive and negative turn into a negative. Now we bring everything else down. So again, we can't forget about our negative. Negative 3 over 5 minus 1/5. Now we ask ourselves, do these fractions have the same denominator? Yes, they do. So we keep that denominator, which is 5. Now we need to add or subtract the numerator. Now let's write out the numerator. Negative 3 minus 1. Okay, now this goes back to chapter 3, which was on integers, right? Negative 3 minus 1. If you're at negative 3 and you subtract 1, you move 1 to the left, which goes to negative 4. Negative 4 over 5. Negative 4/5. Can we reduce that, simplify it? No. So that is our answer. Number 3, we have negative 5/8 minus 3/8. Again, we see that negative sign in the front. Okay, we won't forget that, so put a star next to it. Then we ask ourselves, do these fractions have the same denominator? Yes, they do, which is 8. So we're going to put our 8 in the denominator. Okay, now we add or subtract our numerator, which is negative 5 minus 3. Negative 5 minus 3. Well, if you're at negative 5 on the number line, you subtract 3, right? Same signs add, okay? 5 plus 3 is 8. Same sign, keep the sign. Negative 8. So we have negative 8 over 8. Now let's look at this. What is anything divided by itself? 1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. A negative and a positive make a negative. So our answer, our answer is negative 1. Number 4, 5/8 minus 7/8. Again, we look and see if they have the same denominator, and they do. So we keep that denominator, which in this case is 8. We write the numerator, whether we're subtracting or adding. In this case, we're subtracting. 5 minus 7. Write it all out so you don't get confused. Now this one, if you're at 5 on the number line, positive 5, and you subtract 7. Okay, so same signs add, different signs subtract. So we're going to subtract 7 minus 5, which is 2. Same sign, keep the sign, different, keep the larger. The larger number here is 7. So if you go back in our original problem, there is a negative in front of that 7. So our answer is going to be negative 2 over 8. Now, can we simplify that? Yes, we can. We can simplify that by dividing both numbers by 2. Now remember, this is negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1, over 8 divided by 2 is 4. Negative 1 over 4 cannot be simplified, so that is our answer. And number 5, we have 5 over 14 minus a negative 1 over 14. Now, do they have the same denominator? Yes. Okay, so now we can continue with adding or subtracting the numerators. But first, you have to remember, you see two signs next to each other. Okay, a negative and a negative make a positive. Then we bring down everything else, so 5 over 14. Okay, now it's plus 1 over 14. They have the same denominator, which is 14, so we keep that. We rewrite the numerator. So we have 5 plus 1, 5 plus 1, which is 6 over 14. Can we simplify that? Yes, by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. That cannot be simplified, so your answer is 3/7.